Give him to me. I'm ready. Sports Night with Jay and Dan as we kick off our week with you as you end your weekend. We're thrilled that you joined us, and we're presented by our friends at Tim Hortons. We're going to get to all the NFL, and we're going to get to that the suspensions from that Rockets-Lakers brawl.
Yeah, it's weird.
But first, we're going to start with puck and a nice start to the season for the Calgary Flames.
Yeah, the Flames, they were in New York at the most famous arena in all the world, Madison Square Garden.
We've said it so many
Calgary's last win at MSG was nearly a decade ago, December 7th, 2008. Single Ladies by Beyonce, the #1 song. In the first, 0-0. Sean Monahan finds Johnny Gaudreau, spins, slides it past Henrik Lundqvist off the post, and in Gaudreau's third goal in the last 4 games. 1-0 Flambe, second period. Gaudreau takes the feed into the slot, scores his second of the game. 300th career point for Gaudreau and his 53rd point on the road since the start of last season. That's second only to Connor McDavid. Connie, 3-0 Flames. Guess who was in attendance? Maple Leafs GM Kyle Dubas.
Dubas.
Jermika Zibanejad scored to make it 3-1. Another great chance. Kicked away by David Riddick. Only the second start of the season for Riddick. Final minutes, Matt Zuccarello. Drilled by Rasmus Anderson in the neutral zone. Garnet Hathaway picks up the loose puck. Scores his second of the game. Behind the play, Brady Shea steps in, grabs Anderson, throws him to the ice. Flames pick up their first win in Manhattan since December 2008, and they will be in Montreal on Tuesday.
He was the first draft pick in the history of the franchise. He was their captain for 7 seasons. He led them to their first Cup final. But Paul Kariya's reluctance to have anything to do with hockey after his 2011 retirement delayed his jersey retirement until Sunday night. And it was a pretty special one. He shared the evening with former teammates, including friend and former and fellow Hall of Famer Teemu Selanne. Steve Ruchin was there. What a line that was. They were the only players in Duck history to have their numbers raised to the rafters. It's kind of weird because they're in different colors. You'll see it here. Okay. Ducks have had a long and maybe not storied jersey history. They're wearing these thirds now, which look like San Jose Sharks jerseys, but with the old Duck logo. And they had Kariya on the back for warm-ups. Very cool. To the game, second period, Ducks in front 2-1. Jack Eichel to Jason Pominville to Jeff Skinner.
You know?
Coming off a hat trick Saturday against the Kings. Things are starting. Those Buffalo Sabres uniforms are beautiful. Third period Sabres power play. Kyle Pozo to Rasmus Ristolainen. His first of the season. That was a lazy. Sabres take the lead. Final minute, 3-2 Buffalo. Ryan Getzlaf is stopped. Mad scramble. Nobody can put it in. Looked like a sure goal for the Ducks, but look what happened. Johan Larsson clears it away just in time as the Sabres spoil Paul Kariya's night.
Another potential record-breaking game for Drew Brees. Last week, Brees became the all-time passing yards leader. On Sunday, he had a chance to become just the 4th ever member of the 500 touchdown club. But Brees would have to do it against the only team in the NFL he had never beaten. Who was that? The Ravens. Second quarter, Saints down 3. Brees finds Michael Thomas for 32 yards. Brees completing nearly 78% of his passes this season. Same drive. Brees to Benjamin Watson in the end zone for his 500th career passing touchdown, joining elite company. I mentioned just the 4th quarterback ever to reach that mark. The Ravens have yet to give up a second-half touchdown this season. Final minute of the third, down by 10. Brees rolls out, hits Tre'Quan Smith down the sideline, just manages to keep his feet in bounds. That led to a Saints touchdown. Tremendous hand-eye and feet awareness after giving up 17 unanswered points. Joe Flacco, late in the 4th, finds a wide-open John Brown in the end zone. Ravens cut the deficit to 1. Justin Tucker looking to tie the game and extend his perfect conversion streak. The legendary Chris Myers on the call. In his 223rd attempt, Tucker misses the first conversion of his 7-year career as the Saints win their 5th straight. A lot of people blaming Chris Myers for jinxing him, but a broadcaster in the broadcast booth can't jinx a player on the field because that...
Gord Miller talks about that all the time. It's not possible.
No.
It's just not possible. Gord Miller is a good friend of SportsCenter with Jay and Dan, big fan of what we do.
This is the first time in Brees' career that he has beaten the Ravens, meaning he has now beaten all 32 franchises. Mitch Trubisky, 9 passing touchdowns in the last 2 games. Trubisky on 3rd down, rolling out. Get out of there. Escapes. Okay. Escapes the pressure. Looking downfield. Can't find anyone. Watch, he literally walks it in himself. He like tiptoes. Trubisky running over 75 yards for the 8-yard touchdown. He led the team with 81 yards rushing. Next, Patriots possession. Sonny Michel coming off a 100-yard rushing game. Watch when he's tackled. Oh, goes down awkwardly on his leg. Fumbled the ball, led to another Bears touchdown. The rookie was carted to the room and did not return.
Well, Nichols made the tackle.
To the football game. 3rd quarter. Bears ball. Pat O'Donnell punting. It's blocked.
It's blocked.
Kyle Van Noy
Trying to get
scoops it up. In for the score.
Going in for the touchdown. Van
Pats
Noy.
retake the lead.
On special teams.
Final seconds of regulation. Bears down 7. Trubisky, the Hail Mary. Tom Brady said he was holding his breath the entire play. Kevin White catches it, but can't cross the goal line as he gets swarmed by Patriots defenders. New England wins a thriller. They improved to 5-2.
It is Kevin White.
Panthers and Eagles was contentious. During the coin toss, Eric Reid of the Panthers, Malcolm Jenkins of the Eagles chirping at each other had to be separated, and Reid was visibly angry at his own teammates after the exchange. First quarter, Reid still playing angry. Carson Wentz, the handoff, and after giving the ball to Wendell Smallwood, Reid lays a hit on Wentz. Zach Ertz tries to come to his QB's defense. Reid lays him out. Wow. 2nd quarter, Wentz will find a wide-open Ertz. That's Wentz to Ertz. And again, Reid, big hit, but Ertz hangs on, gains a big first down. That's Wentz to Ertz. Then it's Wentz to Alshon Jeffrey. Doesn't have the same ring to it, but it is the 4th touchdown reception of Jeffrey's year. And the Eagles are up 10 at the half. In the 3rd, play action, Wentz to Dallas Goedert. Takes a big hit from Reid, but hangs onto the ball as well. That led to a touchdown. So the Super Bowl champs take a 17-point lead. Largest come-from-behind win in Panthers history is 17 points. They've done it twice, but not since 2004. Cam Newton has led 14 fourth-quarter comeback wins. His Panthers now down 11. Newton connecting with Devin Funchess. Funchess, heir to the Ron Funchess stand-up comedy fortune. They'd make the 2-point conversion, cutting the lead to just 3. Now, what a career Torrey Smith has had. Newton, huge 4th down play, connects with Smith. A few plays later, Newton to his favorite target and future and former broadcaster, Greg Olsen. Remember he was broadcasting last year when he was injured? Panthers scored TD on 3 straight drives, matching their largest comeback in franchise history. Jacksonville, what happened? This is a team that narrowly lost to the Patriots in last year's AFC Championship game. Many people considered them to have the best defense in the NFL going into this season. What happened? Injuries for one, and Blake Bortles, who at one time looked like Big Ben Light, and now just looks light. Jags lose their 3rd straight.
Chiefs and Bengals were in the Sunday Nighter. Patrick Mahomes leading the NFL with 18 touchdown passes 2nd quarter. Finds Kareem Hunt, breaks a tackle, gets in for the score. 14-0 Chiefs. Cincy 0-7 on Sunday Night Football, dating back to 2003. Andy Dalton to C.J. Uzomah for the touchdown. And he celebrates with the Macarena. Whoever did this highlight pack for me put in here the Macarena, a popular dance from the 1990s.
If only we were alive back then.
Mahomes throws his third touchdown of the half. This one to a wide-open Demetrius Harris. Mahomes over 200 yards in the first half. 24-7 KC. Oh, good to see Jason on Friday the 13th in attendance.
Good camera work.
Mahomes and head coach Andy Reid having a lot in common. They're both star athletes when they're younger. Mahomes has an 8-year-old on the basketball court. Look at that heave. This is going to make your day. Andy Reid is
13 years old. You're going to run that on a loop for the rest of the show. I haven't seen that for a while. That is pretty special.
Can we get that for the end of the show, Tim?
Yeah.
We're putting that request now. Mahomes drops the snap, still finds that. Mahomes now with 22 touchdown passes this season. Chiefs beat up the Bengals 45-10.
Become suspensions in the association. Who's out? For how long? You'll have the details next. You're watching Jay and Dan on TSN.
You know what? Cleveland Browns football is 100% watchable this year for a few reasons. Their games have been crazy. 3 of them have gone to overtime. And on Sunday, another wacky one that gave us this gift for the ages. So what garnered that reaction from Baker Mayfield? Let's find out. It's the Browns and Bucks. Bucks up 9-2 in the second. Chandler Catanzaro going for the extra point, hits the upright. Last 2 seasons, the Bucks have missed the second most kicks for points in the league. Late in the fourth, Browns down 23-16. Mayfield spots a wide-open Jarvis Landry, dives, makes it in for the touchdown. Landry makes the catch, just reaches over the goal line. Point after attempt was good. This game is tied 23-23, 4 seconds ago. Catanzaro has a chance to win it with a 40-yard field goal. He has 5 career game-winning field goals.
Kick here by Chandler Catanzaro.
And
40 yards out.
misses. He missed. The second missed kick of the day. Browns go to their 4th overtime game of the season. Still waiting. When is Baker Mayfield going to make that crazy face? Bucks punting on 4th and 8. Bill Peppers catches it at about the 25. Breaks a tackle, and then
Where is everybody?
drop the football. Bucks recover. 59-yard field goal attempt for redemption.
Was on this side, pushed right. Game-winning field goal attempt was on this hash, pushed right.
Here we go. He gets it off. Did it hook in? It's good. It's good. He made it from 59.
Look at that face on Baker
You know that
Mayfield.
59-yarder was the longest ever field goal in overtime? Cleveland has played 4 overtime games this season, most for a team since Arizona won all 4 played in 2011, and time for second most in NFL history. They still don't have a road victory since winning in overtime against Baltimore on October 11th, 2015.
Rabel.
What do you do in that situation?
You kick the point after. You go to overtime.
Yeah. Bortles, Portals, and Windows is our clock sponsor this week.
This is maybe the last time Bortles will get any sort of endorsement deal, so we're happy to have him on board. We'll take anyone's money, really.
At the top of the show, you mentioned suspensions in the NBA.
Yes.
Well, those have been handed out for the altercation that broke out during the Lakers' home opener against the Rockets Saturday night. Brandon Ingram gets 4 games for shoving James Harden. Then after Rondo and Paul got into it, running back into the fray to throw a punch, the league concluded Rondo spit at CP3. Both teams meet again December 13th. So Rondo 3 games, Chris Paul 2 games.
As CP3 began serving his suspension Sunday, Ingram and Rondo will begin serving their suspensions Monday when the Lakers host the Spurs. I have to say, sorry, Dan, if David Stern was still the commissioner, this would have been like 15 games each, at least. Like this seems extremely lenient from Adam Silver.
So this happens this early in LeBron's time in LA. Is he saying, oh, what did I sign up for?
What
Is
did
he
he-
like, okay, this is going to be fun?
Rondo is like the least whacked of all of his teammates. You got Lance Stevenson on that team.
He wasn't even involved in it.
Yeah, exactly. You got a lot of interesting guys on that squad.
Now, for the rest of the stories you need to know, it's time for the Jay and Dan News Reel. Hamilton Tiger Cats announced that wide receiver Brandon Banks, is going to miss the remainder of the season. Why?
Speedy?
Broken clavicle. Suffered the injury early in the fourth quarter during Friday's loss to the Red Blacks. Banks tied for first in the CFL with 11 receiving touchdowns this year.
He set a new team record for the most 100-yard receiving games this season with 10. That eclipsed Tony Champion's record set back in 1989. Just a devastating loss for the Tabbies. Now, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the Steelers have not heard anything from Le'Veon Bell. They don't know when he's going to report back to the team. League sources believe that the running back is waiting until after the October the 30th trade deadline because he doesn't want to be dealt. Earlier this month, it was reported Bell would return to Pittsburgh prior to Week 8. The three-time Pro Bowler says he plans on playing for the Steelers this season. In his place, James Conner averaging just under 5 yards a rush. And
Did they have the right cell phone number?
They just have the incorrect number. Or maybe just one digit is off.
The LA Angels have announced Brad Osmus as their new manager. He takes over for Mike Scioscia, who stepped down from the position after 19 seasons in charge. Former Tigers manager, I didn't know this, served as a special assistant in the Angels front office this past season. So he was a manager in waiting, practically, I guess.
Yeah, they knew probably that Scioscia was going to walk away. So they brought him in. You mentioned this before, Dan. He's another manager who looks like he should still be playing. He played 18 seasons, or is it 19 seasons? 18 seasons. But he had a less than a 500 record with the Tigers over 4 seasons.
What's going on with the Jays search? Do we know? Stubby Clapp.
Stubby Clapp. Hey, we're pulling for him. When we come back, it's do or die time for a pair of Canadian Major League Soccer teams. That's coming up on Jay and Dan here on TSN. TFC faced the Montreal Impact in the last 4-1 derby of the season. For the Impact, a loss would mean the end of their MLS playoff hopes. For TFC, a trip to Montreal means they can indulge in the best bagels in the world. So it's not a total loss. 70th minute we go. And we're jumping all the way to the 70th minute. The ball is played in for Ignacio Piatti. He's dragged down to the box by Eric Zavaleta. The referee right there doesn't award a penalty. Piatti says he pulled my kit. And after a short delay, the video assistant referee elects to review it and take a look. Zavaleta pretty clearly holding on to that jersey. And so it is a penalty, and Piatti. 15th goal of the season. 89. Luke Wildman on the call, by the way, for the MLS on TSN. Canadian Screen Award winner. Alex Bono comes out. Oh, no, sorry, it's Bono. I just messed that up. Piatti scores an empty netter. And Montreal keeping those slim playoff hopes alive.
LAFC and Vancouver Whitecaps. Vancouver needing to win out. You needed to win out and get a lot of help to make the playoffs. Down 2-1 in the 65th. Yeah, that was nice. Tied it up. Not enough. Vancouver eliminated from the playoffs. Montreal, as Jay said, still have a chance of making Major League Soccer postseason after the Columbus Crew lost 2-1 to Orlando City earlier on Sunday. The Impact are 7th in the Eastern Conference with 46 points, 2 points behind Columbus, with 1 game remaining for both teams. Hey, it's time for your Jay and Dan E-Talk update. F1 superstar Lewis Hamilton is dating pop superstar Nicki Minaj. It's Minaj?
Yes.
There they are. Lewis on the verge of capturing his 5th F1 title with 4 races still remaining on the schedule.
That's a good shot of them.
And didn't have any pictures of it. Hey, Kimi Räikkönen takes the checkered flag. Räikkönen's 21st race win, first in 113 races, delays Hamilton's 5th championship.
Are you trying to get a job at E-Talk as a fill-in guy for Ben Mulrooney? He's down at the Invictus Games, and they need people to pitch in. You're watching Jay and Dan. Sunday was the first full day of competition for the Invictus Games in Australia. Retired Corporal Andrew Measley doesn't use a prosthetic. He bikes with just one leg. Look at this. Incredible little help from his teammates getting up the last hill, but finished strong. A time of just under 5 minutes. That is just amazing, amazing stuff. More from cycling.
Yeah, you know what I
Cage
see?
Jennifer Yarwood suffers a mechanical issue as she approaches the finish of her race. Can't use her pedals, so she pushes her bike's wheels to cross the finish line. The race is classified for competitors who suffer from upper body injuries, which makes it even more impressive. And that leads us to the Jay and Dan mailbag. Actual letters from actual viewers from across this great country. Devin asks, if you could dress up in one costume for an entire month straight, and you'd even have to work in it, what would you choose, Dan?
Well, the one I was going to choose, Connor McDavid actually dressed as for Halloween at the Oilers party, so this is the one I would choose. Yeah, I'd be Homer Simpson.
Excuse me there. That is that's a lot of effort. That's commitment. Good job, Connie.
Someone said he also looks kind of like Walter White from Breaking Bad.
He does look a bit like Walter White, but like a jaundiced Walter White.
What would yours be?
I hope no one. There's me. That's what I would be. I would be gritty. It Jay. And then I just walk around terrorizing all my coworkers, which I do anyway.
Hamza Khan wants to know, if you could do any job in the world for one day, what would it be?
For me, it would be president of TSN. And my first order of business would be walking up to producer Tim and saying, "You're fired."
Oh.
You're fired. Sorry, you do it better, Trump, than me.
Nah, mine's bad. Well, that kind of ruins my plans, because my plan was to be producer Tim for a day so I could have the easiest job in the world.
That's a good choice as well. And finally, Big Teach asks, which event is more likely to happen? Jay leaves the show to become a music critic. Dan leaves the show to become the mayor of a small town in Ontario. Or producer Tim gets fed up with both of you and burns the place to the ground.
I think we both would probably agree on this answer.
Yeah, I think it's definitely C, but with a caveat. It would be producer Tim, whose illness has lasted so many weeks, his contagion would infest all the employees with TSN, and all the employees at TSN would die from producer Tim's diseases.
Who is the Peanuts character? Was it Pigpen?
Yes.
That's kind of what
That's
Tim is
Tim.
like.
That's
it's
Tim
just
now.
a cloud of, but it's not dirt. It's just like
It's sickness.
festering.
We need to put producer Tim in a bubble. Make him the bubble boy. Bubble Tim. I like the idea of Bubble Tim producing this show.
Still to come. From the minors to the pros, we get the best and worst from Sunday night. Coming up in the Jennies.
Producer Tim was supposed to have a new graphic for today's show and appears to have let the viewers down again.
Spins the other way.
Mitch Trubisky.
Looks.
He's going for a jog. He's going for the score.
Trubisky.
But the Bears
In
lost
for the
to the
touchdown.
Pats.
TFC visiting Montreal Impact. Some bad communication. It's labeled here as bad miscommunication, but it either be bad communication or just miscommunication.
Kenny Agostino's had a cup of coffee in the NHL, currently playing for the Laval Rocket of the AHL. That's really nice. Take a bow, Agostino. You did it.
DC United clinched an MLS Cup playoff spot on Sunday thanks in part to this beauty goal by Wayne Rooney. Hello, Governor.
Calgary won at MSG for the first time in a long time Sunday. Johnny Gaudreau, first and 2 on the night. He was there for a good time, not a long time. Trooper, still going.
Stefan Diggs had some trouble getting his jersey off on Sunday. This seems to be an ongoing problem.
Coming up. You're watching the NFL on Fox.
Jersey, they're too tight.
You're watching it. Lightning Blackhawks. Patrick Kane. Stopped by Louis Domingue.
Is that Bill Ranford?
Seemed like that. Pad stack save. Domingue.
Russell Westbrook played his first game of the season on Sunday. He's been out with a knee injury. Look at that.
Yes.
Into the crowd.
Whoa.
Scored 32.
Whoa.
Thunder lost to the Kings. Those are wacky shoes. Bill Ranford, man, he would do a 2-pad stack on a dump it.
Yeah, he had a sports bar in Edmonton for a long time. It's not there anymore. It's the worst play of the day. Back to the Blackhawks and Lightning. Blackhawks dump it in. Hits the linesman. Comes into the slot. David Kampf beats Louis Domingue. Domingue's not happy. Gets a new stick. That's Kampf with a P and an F. Who spent the weekend eating the Big Elvis platter at his local barbecue restaurant. I blew it during the Jaguars highlights. I had a terrible time with DeAndre Hopkins and Deshaun Watson's names. I really messed that up. I also messed up the first bumper. I said you're watching Day and Jan, and you said that Lewis Hamilton is dating Nicki Minaj. It's Minaj.
Oh, and Nicki Minaj. Yeah. Also, a big congrats to McGill Redmond. They captured their 5th consecutive Canadian University World Series in Ottawa this past weekend. My nephew Mike is on that team, taught him everything he knows.
Oh, can we see Andy Reid again? Yes. Yes, Tim. Yes, Tim, this makes up for everything. Yes. Andy Reid is 13 years old. He's a giant.
What a weekend it was.